think there is a certain legacy on heritage, which and the trust which comes with those brands, which really start the whole conversation. And as you rightly said, whether it's our Japanese portfolio of Yamazaki or Hibiki, or our malls from Scotland, which is Lafroig or Bowmore, or even Teacher's Scotch Whisky in India, or our bourbons like Jim Beam and Maker's Mark from Kentucky, I think they are long-standing, very renowned, old, trusted brands, and still very contemporary and relevant for occasions for consumers. So the good news is the category tends to be recessionary resilient across multiple times in the last 2 centuries. And then when you look back at what happened in the SARS time in 2003, or the GFC, or even the highway ban in 2017, when some parts of the channels came down to the knees, I think there has been a lot of that incidence and precedence which has been set in, which continues to make us believe that at the end, consumers enjoy the drinks, and they should be given access, and they should enjoy it responsibly. And we discovered, like, for example, we spoke to the National Restaurant Association of India, which is a fairly good representation across multiple large chain restaurants and bars. And we realized that in the month of March and April, they were really, looking at wage bills of bartenders and wait staff, and they just didn't have the cash to continue to look at in the uncertainty. So again, with our overall philosophy of growing for good, and it's not necessarily a brand or the corporate, but we pledged 1 crore rupees towards that association probably in the first week of the lockdown, which said, yes, there will be masks and sanitizers and all the other stuff, but I think at the first instance, the champions which get our brands from liquid to lips, that's something we need to get out there and support. We started a bartending championing program called Learn and Home, because obviously all of the virtual meetings and the recipes, etc., were being done. But how do we make sure people do make some money, people who are the extended community of this company? So there's been a lot of that happen. Looking at consumers, for the first 40 days, it was a dry lockdown, and that was the nature of the lockdown. And I think over time, we realized that India and South Africa were the only 2 countries in the entire world which was going through a longish dry lockdown. India opened earlier. South Africa presumably opens on the 1st of June. So they're still in a dry lockdown. Then we looked at what does it mean. E-commerce is still not permissible in the country as per the local state excise rules. We then used that time to engage with the state regulators and with the central regulators as an industry body to say why, more than ever, home delivery continues to be the most important enabler of supply chain for this phase. We saw some of those initial first day sites in Delhi and all of that. So that helped, and that really paved the way for different forms of home delivery models, which are now being experimented, and hopefully they will sustain and they will get refined over time. And we are working together with